Obviously, guys, there's a lot to break down after this game, but we'll start with this one. Which is more of a concern for the Patriots now, their quarterback or their defense, CC?
It's got to be the defense. Over 500 yards. Tom Brady, I remember a couple years ago, a Monday night game in Kansas City. People had cast Tom Brady, he's over the hill. This is it for him. We're getting ready to watch a decline. I'm not as concerned about him, but the defense, the overall lack of speed, and some parts of this roster that I believe have to be developed in a hurry. I mean, they do not have a linebacker that can cover. It was very evident based on the matchups that Andy Reid in the game last night. Third down, goal line situations, or fourth down, short yardage situations. They've been fabulous at this. New England in game situations has been better than any team that we've seen the last 20 years. Last night, very average to below average on a bunch of these. Not picking up fourth down conversions, not taking the points early because they've always been very, very aggressive as trying to convert those fourth downs and keep those drives going. But I think now we see why Belichick, after winning his 5th Super Bowl, why there was so much roster turnover, why he made so many trades, because they need to upgrade their talent. And they have a number of questions that have to be answered if they're going to defend their championship.
The defense was hugely problematic. You got to go back in the record books to find the last time the Patriots gave up this type of offense, this many yards, this many points at home. But I'm going to point to something that I was not so quietly signaling the alarm bells before the game, and that's a 40-year-old quarterback.
Yes.
I can only say this so many times. Tom Brady has accomplished more than any quarterback ever. If you want to call him the greatest quarterback ever, I'm not going to argue with you. But that doesn't have anything to do with this season. Everything Tom Brady's accomplished in the past is irrelevant to how good is Tom Brady right now. And the Tom Brady I saw yesterday played like a 40-year-old quarterback and was coached like a 40-year-old quarterback. There has never been a guy in league history better at the quarterback sneak.
Yes.
3rd and short or 4th and short. The Patriots in this game last night had 3 chances early, 4th and less than a yard, including a 4th and inches at the 6. They called 0 quarterback sneaks. To me, that is them trying to protect their 40-year-old quarterback. Additionally, Tom Brady last year was very efficient on deep balls, but didn't throw many of them. Only threw 49 deep balls all of last year. Last night, he threw 10. And this Brandon Cooks guy, who everyone said, he's like Randy Moss, except a foot shorter. Okay. Okay, this is something like that. They didn't seem to exactly be on the same page.
Right.
And on those 10 deep balls, they only had 2 completions and a passer rating of about 60. This is concerning because last year they had struggles on defense early, struggles enough that they traded Jamie Collins. But the offense was able to carry them. I know 27 points usually wins you football games, but last night that did not look like the Patriots offense we've come to expect.
Well, explain this to me then. I counted the number of things you listed that went wrong last night. You came up with 8. You came up with about 4 or 5 just with Tom Brady alone. How is it possible that a Bill Belichick coached team could have been so surprised by what happened? A Bill Belichick coached team playing at home where they win, against the Chiefs, who they beat. In the season opener, which they usually dominate, how come in the post-game press conferences we hear, we just weren't prepared, we got to be better? How did he not know that this was the level of talent they had if you think they still need to make more changes?
Well, they have to, they're always evolving. Every NFL team is, with the lack of practice time, the lack of physicality. I've told you this. The first 4 games are like the preseason. So teams are evolving going through the month of September. You'll see the real team October and November. They'll develop characteristics which will play to their strength. Belichick didn't know he didn't have a short yardage back. Last night was evident. So it's not a matter of being surprised. The only thing that could have surprised New England was Kansas City and how many times they lined up in a college offense, a spread offense, and they ran some type of option or misdirection. That's the only thing that could have surprised them. And it only could surprise them a little bit because Andy Reid has done this before with Alex Smith. So from oh, man, they caught us off guard. No, they didn't catch us off guard. The game was there to be dominated. In the second quarter, when they decided to get too greedy and not go for points, Nick hates that when teams...
No, I like when they go for it on fourth. You're a take the points guy.
Take the points.
You want them to kick the field goal. You don't care about the math. You don't care about the probabilities. That's fine. Go ahead.
Right, so there were a number of things. You know what surprised them, too? The first play of the game, they call a great design play. And anytime you call the first play of the game, you are pretty much predicting what the defense is going to be in. Dwayne Allen, the tight end they got from Indianapolis. He's running wide open down the sideline.
They were right when they predicted it. It couldn't have been drawn up better, right?
Tom Brady's got time. It's exactly how they draw it up in the film room. It's exactly what the players were expecting to see. Tom Brady misses him.
Badly.
Wide open. Now, this is either a touchdown or they're in the red zone immediately. The first three drives, you saw Kansas City couldn't stop them. Kansas City made adjustments defensively, and Justin Houston, healthy for the first time in 2 years, eventually is able to win those matchups and get to the quarterback.
The one name we haven't mentioned when you're talking about the Patriots defense is a guy who now all of a sudden the Patriots have a multi-level loss here. Not only do you lose your opener at home, and I'll remind the audience that only one time in NFL history has a team lost its first game of the season at home and gone on to win the Super Bowl. So once, the 0-2 Bucks. So the Patriots behind the 8 ball already. But Dante Hightower leaves that game with a knee injury. Dante Hightower, who the Patriots have won 2 Super Bowls since 2004. Dante Hightower might have made the single biggest defensive play in both of those Super Bowls. Everyone says, oh, the Malcolm Butler interception. Dante Hightower is the one that pulls Marshawn Lynch down.
Yes, the play before.
A play before that allows the Malcolm Butler play to happen. In the game against the Falcons, who has the strip sack on Matt Ryan? Dante Hightower does. He's now out with a knee injury. If it's a tweak, you can move on. If it's a serious injury, that's real problems.
But it's also compounded because they don't have pass rushers. They were trying to use him as a pass rusher, and they have to have one of the slowest group of linebackers that I've seen in the NFL. So he's better at a linebacker, Nick. Hate to cut you off.
No.
He's better at middle linebacker because he can cover, and now they are going to miss him on a couple different levels.
And Jenna, you asked, how could they not be prepared? I don't think they weren't prepared. I just don't think you can go at the press conference afterwards and say, well, our guys aren't good enough. Because the Patriots knew they had a pass rush problem. It's why they spent their first pick of the draft on a pass rusher.
Yes.
But he's on the IR. The Patriots knew Rob Ninkovich would be hard to replace. They thought Shea McClellin could, but he's on the IR.
But I guess my question is, 48 hours ago, prognosticators had this team, maybe not complete on defense, but a fairly complete team on both sides of the ball, perhaps going 16-0. Perhaps being one of the best teams and the best Patriots teams we've seen in a long time. And now I find that after one game, we're able to just rip that all to shreds, and we're seeing the weaknesses that they have now that we hadn't talked about. But we already knew they had a shaky defense.
No. Welcome back to the NFL. This is what we do. We call it, it's typically Crisis Monday. But now it's Crisis Friday because we opened up on a Thursday. Yeah, these are the things, Jenna, that we know on paper. But once you get in the game,
don't play on paper.
You start to see, wow, every team has deficiencies, but it's the team that can expose your deficiencies during the game. New England could have dominated this game. If they would have gotten up by 14 to 17.
They almost did.
They would have won this game because then, Andy, he can't remain conservative, and Alex Smith is going to have to force it down the field earlier than he wants to.
Quickly, there are so many unprecedented things about this game. I know we're going to talk about it throughout the show. I'm going to try to throw in a different end of the segment stat each time. How about this one? You set up 14 or 17. Just up 10 has been good enough. Going into last night, since Tom Brady took over, the Patriots at home, if they lead by 10 or more points, 102-1. 102-1 in games they are up by 10 or more. Now that is 102-2.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.